Let's do a twist on the classic butter flap and make it with cheese. The first step is to make the soft and delicious white bread. To my mixing bowl, I've added warm water, I've also added sugar, and I've added yeast. And I'm just going to mix this all together. The sugar helps the yeast to rise. Next, I'm going to mix all-purpose flour with salt, and I just want to point out that I am making half the recipe, so that's why the quantities might look a little bit small, but the full recipe makes 10 of these butter flaps with cheese. After about 10 minutes, I am adding the flour, and I'm also adding melted butter, which has had a chance to cool just a little bit. And I'm using the dough hook on my stand-up mixer, and I'm going to allow this to knead for about 10 minutes. This process develops the gluten strands in the dough, so don't skip it. I know it can be a little bit tough if you're hand kneading, but you do need to knead it for at least 10 minutes. Next, I'm going to knead it just for about a minute or two until it comes together, and then I'm going to form it into a ball, then place it into the same container, but I've greased it with butter. Then I'm going to cover it with cling wrap, put this in a warm place. I like to put it on my stove that's on warm, just on the top, and allow it to sit there for about an hour just to let the dough rise. Now it's time to get started on the cheese filling. And I'm using the fine side of my grater, and I'm grating the cheese into really fine strands. Now you want it to be like this because it'll be easy to mix into the butter, and the butter is at room temperature. I'm also going to add some mustard just so that we can pump up the flavor of the cheese, and I'm just using the fork to mix this together. If the cheese is at room temperature and the butter, it blends really well. Once the bread has doubled in size, I'm just going to place it onto my counter, and then it's time to separate it into equal pieces. And as I said before, the full recipe makes 10 of these, but I did half, so I am making approximately 5. And the recipe will be linked below in the description box, and this is going to give you all of the measurements that you need, all of the instructions that you need, so be sure to head on down to the description box and click on the link. Now I'm going to form the dough into 5 equal balls, place them to the side, and then one of the balls I am just going to roll into a circle, and this is about 5.5 to 6 inches in diameter. And as you notice, I am not using any flour. We don't want to add any additional flour to the dough. Once I've rolled out the dough, I am just going to spread some of that cheese spread onto half of the dough, and then I'm going to take the other side and then just fold it over. So you're just going to fold it in half. Next, I'm going to spread a little bit of cheese over the top, and don't be tempted to add too much because if it's overstuffed, the cheese will ooze out. And I'm just going to fold it in half again and just prick the ends using my finger. This prevents the cheese flaps from opening up once it rises and bakes in the oven. And I'm just going to place these onto a baking sheet pan. I will loosely cover it with cling wrap, and then I'm going to place it back onto my stove top where it's warm and allow it to rise for about 30 minutes or so. And look at how beautiful those look. I'm going to take off the cling wrap, then place it into the oven. The oven is at 375 degrees, and bake this for about 20 minutes until it's golden brown. Then I am going to brush it all over the top and sides with, you guessed it, even more butter. And you guys, this is so good. There's nothing like homemade bread. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please let me know below in the comment section. If this is your first time here and you like what you see, please be sure to subscribe. Be sure to give this recipe a try, and I'll see you guys in the next one.